Hi, this is Sean D'Souza, and you're listening to the 3-Month Vacation Podcast. This podcast isn't some magic trick about how to work less. Instead, it's about how to really enjoy the work that you do and to enjoy your vacation time. Hi, I'm Sean, and you're listening to the 3-Month Vacation. Let's say you wanted to learn a language, or maybe you wanted to learn how to draw or write. What would be the most obvious advice that you'd get from a stranger, a friend, or even yourself? The obvious advice that we get consistently is to practice, practice, and practice. And yet, that's not what you see when you look around you. Part of the problem is that we're not really paying attention to what we see. Let's take an example of basketball. If your goal is to get good at basketball, there is much to consider. You'll need excellent ball handling skills to maintain that control. There's shooting, of course, jump shots, layups, free throws, and that's just for starters. Rebounding, passing, defense, court awareness, teamwork, that's all part of the complexity of a game of basketball. All of these elements of basketball are obvious, and we expect to see them during the game. And we expect to also see them during practice. However, if you look around, you'll notice another detail right in front of your face. It's easy to miss, and yet the element is around almost all of the time. If you watch someone who is obsessed with basketball, they will annoy you because they're always dribbling a ball. You'll hear them dribbling outside the house, on the way to school, the playground, and even when they're going to the shopping mall. They almost always seem to have their basketball, and they're always dribbling. An artist does something similar. You will see an artist practice, and then you will see them painting a piece of art. However, snuck right in between is doodling. Artists start scribbling on walls and never seem to stop. They'll find scraps of paper, they'll draw in books, but they will also be doodling everywhere. They'll draw on table mats, they will draw at restaurants, they will draw on any surface that's usable, that will accept their pens and papers and crayons and whatever they have with them. And this is my opinion, and it's obviously an opinion because it's no study that shows any of this because nobody's looking for it. But many of the people who build sheds, computers, write codes and novels, those who cook food, a lot of these people are average. And the reason why they never get past a certain level might be directly linked to the obsession with practice. Practice is tiring. Practice is often repetitive, which means it's boring. Practice. Even that phrase, it just sounds like so much work. However, dribbling is not only fun, but it's clearly non-judgmental. No one is looking at you when you are dribbling, scribbling, or nibbling. You can do as you like and goof up as much as you want, and people don't even seem to notice what you're doing. Now, compare that with practice, where if you get one note wrong, or you get one drawing wrong, or you get one thing wrong, immediately someone's jumping in your head. But when you're dribbling and scribbling, no one seems to notice the activity, and you barely register it yourself. All you know is that you're enjoying yourself, and maybe you're getting better, maybe you're not, but you're having a blast, just in your own little world, without the rigor of practice. Of course, we are not just talking about kids, but we are adults. So how does this idea of dribbling play out in the real world, in the adult world? Let's say you're keen to learn the guitar. You have the song, which is the endpoint, the event. So if we broke it up into dribbling, practice, and event, then we have these three parts. and the song is the event, but then you have practice, which is important, but it's often tedious. And the dribbling is when you pick up the guitar many times a day, during the week, during the month, and you're just strumming away. You're just doing little bits. The two zones where you're having the most fun are usually when you're dribbling or when you have the final event. And this is why most people stagnate in their skills. I've seen clients who've done exceedingly well at writing, drawing, or other such activities. Then there's a point, and that's that point where they stagnate. They never seem to progress. They know their struggles, but when you ask them, when you query, when you say, what's the problem? They pick on the worst of the three elements. They say, I haven't been practicing. You realize what's happening here, don't you? They should be saying, I'm going to dribble more. I will find a place to dribble outside my house, on the way to work, and even at the shopping mall. But no, they're talking about practice. And yes, we realize all skills aren't portable. There are some activities you can do almost anywhere, and some activities where you're going to have to find a space. But that's not the point. The point is this over-dependence on practice, and this is what dooms most of us. Parents are obsessed with hard work. Teachers, coaches, guides, even our cool friends, they will talk about practice as though it's the Holy Grail. And while practice is crucial for speed, for confidence, and especially for anticipation, it is the most boring activity of all. You and I need to learn from that kid next door, that annoying kid. To get a high level of joy, we need to dribble more than ever before. Play, that's what's important. It's always been about dribbling, scribbling, nibbling, and doodling. And that brings us to the end of this podcast. Let's find out what's happening in psychotactics land. You probably realize that I'm quite obsessed with skill and talent, and that's why there is this book, and it's called Suddenly Talented, and it talks about why doable greatness is better than genius. Because again, like practice, everybody's obsessed with genius, but do we really want to be geniuses? Are we willing to spend 6 hours in the pool, 365 days a week for 20 years? Because that's what Michael Phelps did. That's how the book opens. The book talks about genius and how we don't really aspire to cut out 1 minute from our swimming so that we can win the gold medal. We're just happy to swim. We're just happy to get to doable greatness. We don't want to be hopeless. We don't want to be average. But we want to be good at drawing, writing, building sheds, speaking languages, doing all of these things, and it's possible. And while there are lots of books on the topic of talent, this book isn't similar to any of them. Why? Because I've read a lot of them. So you'll find it at psychotactics.com/talent. I think you'll enjoy the book. And just one more thing. If you want to create info products, you are not going to be able to depend on AI because, yes, it'll create products for you, but they won't be as exciting because there's a structure and there are elements to info products that makes it more interesting than other info products. So there's lots of hopeless and average stuff out there. And you want people to come in to read your stuff and then go, where's the second book? Where's the third book? Where's the second course? Where's the third course? Psychotactics has pretty much stayed under the radar for the last 23 years. Very few people know of us. How do we stay successful, if you want to use the word successful, is that clients come back repeatedly, just like a cafe or a restaurant. They come back all the time, and that is because the information is structured and presented in a way that they like. How do you do that? That's what InfoProducts shows you how to do. So go to psychotactics.com/infogoodies. And of course, that's what you'll get, goodies. I'll say bye for now. 2 things, the talent book and info goodies, both of them at psychotactics.com. Bye-bye. Still listening? When I create this podcast, I have a workflow. Usually I'll write the text and then go through Grammarly and edit it, and it's a long process. But there are other times when I must just step up to the mic. I have 3 points in front of me, and I will talk about those points. And I've been doing this for the past 5, 6, 7 years. It's either one or the other. Yesterday, however, my niece Kara came over, and we decided to play. We didn't do the normal workflow. We decided to adapt something to her needs, which was completely different from anything that we've done before. And I use a teleprompter to read the script, or I just speak. But speaking has its ups and downs because, you make mistakes. And there was no way that Kara was going to ever write a script. Not yesterday, anyway. What she found was that we could use another software, and that is Mac Whisper, which is a transcription software. And she spoke what she wanted to say, and then just tidied it up a little bit, and then we cut and pasted it into our teleprompter software. And then she was able to do a podcast. And I will let you hear that podcast because it sounds so natural. But this is the kind of thing that we were doing in playtime. I didn't do any work yesterday. I didn't look at any email. We were just playing around with all of this stuff, no practice. And the results are astounding. So, yeah, more dribble time, I hope. I'll say bye for now, and I'll see you in 5000 BC. Oh, and don't forget, psychotactics.com/talent. Bye-bye.